Yo, what's up, guys? We're back for another week of predictions, and this week it's going to be Dana White Contender Series Week 3. But first I want to go over UFC Singapore a little bit, just go over the card, how we did. And it was another pretty successful week. We went 10-3, and we've won the Parlay of the Week 7 weeks in a row now, along with the most confident picks. So really rolling on that. Really like where our progress is on that. Hopefully we can keep it going into tough finales in the UFC 226. But also, I wanted to ask you guys a question right here before I got this video started. If you guys would put the answer in the comments for me. I know that Tough 26 is July 6th, and then UFC 226 is July 7th. And I'm doing the film study, the tape study for that right now. And I'm just wondering if I have to do one video, let's say on Tuesday or Wednesday, and I put out the other one on Monday like usual, which one do you guys want first? Do you guys want me to put the UFC 226 video out first or the Tough Finale video out first? So let me know which one you guys would want first. But on the UFC Singapore, and the first fight was Ji-yeon Kim against Melinda Fabian. And it was a fairly decent fight. I didn't think that it was a split decision. I thought Ji-yeon Kim, was kind of... I thought she won all 3 rounds, even though it was pretty close, but they gave it a split decision. And Melinda Fabian's 0-2 now in the UFC. I think she'll probably be done. Maybe she'll get one more fight. And for Ji-yeon Kim, that's 2 in a row now. And I'm thinking that she's probably going to get another, decently, maybe like a name fighter after this fight. Maybe like a Paige Van Zandt or something. But up next we have Yuta Sasaki against Janelle Lauza. And this was one of our legs for our parlay, and Yuta Sasaki was able to get it done fairly easily. He came out right away looking for those takedowns, got him down in round 1, really controlled position. Round 2, he got him down again, took the back, got the rear naked choke, and good performance by Yuta Sasaki. He's a great fighter, great submission artist. And for Janelle Lauza, that's 3 losses in a row, so I'm thinking that he's probably going to get the axe here. Which is a little unfortunate for Lauza. He is a good athlete, but he never really put it all together in the UFC. And for Sasaki, he caught out Sergio Pettis. Not sure he's going to get that fight, but, he should get maybe another top 15 fighter. And up next, we had Matt Schnell against Naoki Inoue. And this was a very close fight, very fun fight. I actually thought Inoue looked good with his jab. He was sticking and moving. And Schnell was landing the bigger, harder shots. And, he obviously had a chance to get the win. But I thought Inoue actually won 2-1. And, I thought that he was able to land some nice knees in the clinch. I thought Schnell was the one that exited the clinch with the types with good offense. But I thought Inoue was kind of the aggressor in the third and the first round. And I thought he won the fight, but, they gave it to Matt Schnell. It was a very close stand-up fight. Inoue didn't use his grappling at all in that fight. I was a little surprised by that, but... that's a good win for Matt Schnell. He gets to keep his job in the company. Now he's won 2 in a row. So after those 3 losses in a row to good competition, he's kind of steadied himself. And for Naoki Inoue, he's only 21 years old. And 1-1 in the UFC now with an arguable loss. That shouldn't push him back too far. And look forward to see what Naoki Inoue could do in the future. And up next we had Xiaonan Yan versus Viviane Pereira. And it was kind of what I expected. Coming in, I thought Yan was just too good with their distance control, too good with their striking from the outside, and I actually thought she won all 3 rounds, 30-27. First round was pretty close, Pereira was outside. She never really was trying to go inside. She was just waiting to land the right hand when Yan would close distance. It was just a stupid gameplay because she's so small that if you're just waiting for someone to close the distance to land the overhand shot, most of the time you're not going to win that fight unless you get a knockout or you rock her multiple times. And so Yan was able to just win that fight purely on volume and pretty clear decision victory there for Xiaonan Yan. And she's 2-0 now in the UFC and looks like a pretty promising prospect. Maybe it's time to give her a step up competition. And for Viviane Pereira, she started off 13-0, 2-0 in the UFC. Now she's 2-2. And, got to wonder where she's going because she hasn't really looked too impressive to me once she gets up in those higher levels. And Jake Matthews versus Shinzo Anzai. Jake Matthews seems like he's really starting to put it all together now. He really had a dominating performance out there. The animal is kind of able to get him against the cage, was trying to set up some wrestling. But Matthews just shut that down, landed a hook, a knee, pushed him off the wall. And it was actually him that went down, got the takedown, got up, and just started just hammering Anzai with a lot of punches. Anzai gave his back, and Matthews choked him out unconscious. Pretty good win for Jake Matthews, making it look easy in that fight. And, I think it's time for Jake Matthews to get like a top 15 opponent there, because his last 2 wins have been very impressive. And up next, Kenan Song against Hector Aldana. And Kenan Song just landed a big shot that just knocked Aldana out after Aldana seemed like he actually had a pretty good first round. I thought he won the first round, pushing the pace. He was landing shots to the body, landing hard leg kicks, and just got caught in that second round, man. He got caught with a big shot, dropped almost right away after that right hand, and he was basically out. And Kenan Song seems like he has big power, but I don't think he's an overall great fighter. And up next, Shane Young against Orlando D. And Shane Young looked great in my opinion, man. He was doing a great job keeping very, very good pressure, pushing D up against the cage, using good head movement, good fakes and fades, setting his shots up well, really using, not keeping his head on center line. I just really liked the game plan from Shane Young. I thought he was doing a great job of changing up his tempo with the shots. He was landing, some small, slower shots, like boom, boom. He changed up the speed, landed a hard overhand right, a hard uppercut. Really was real tricky with that. And Shane Young seems like he's a pretty good prospect, man. I think he's a great workman. He's only 24 years old. Trains out of City Kickboxing with guys like Israel Adesanya. And I like Shane Young, man. I think he's a good fighter. Don't know if he's going to get too far. But, those people that have crazy chins keep coming forward and, could strike a little bit, keep great pressure. Those guys are hard to deal with, man. So keep an eye out for Shane Young. And for Orlando D, I just think that he's ran his course in the UFC, man. 3 out of 4 losses. Not looked very impressive. And I think it's the end of the road for Orlando D. And up next, Yadong Song versus Felipe Aranches. Song Yadong Song, however you want to say it. But he just straight up dominated this fight. Felipe Aranches kept diving to his back, trying to look for submission, stuff like that, because Yadong was just so fast on the feet, man. He was so much faster than Felipe. Didn't respect Felipe's striking at all. Was just walking him down. And I think Felipe felt better off of his back, but he was getting smashed off his back too. And, eventually, Song was able to land a sick elbow, man. A nasty elbow in the clinch and dropped him. And Song Yadong is a beast, man. That guy's going to be a factor in that 145 division. I think that maybe give him one more fight. If he looks just as impressive, give him a top 15 matchup, because I think that he's really a beast. And up next, another beast coming up, Peter Yan against Teruto Ishihara. And Peter Yan just put those numbers on Ishihara, man. He was throwing in combinations, just walking him down, and just fucking beat the shit out of Ishihara, man. Dropped him with a hard shot and left hand, and just Ishihara was kind of out. He kind of recovered a little bit, and he landed another punch, and right when he dropped him, the ref just stopped it. But that was a brutal finish by Peter Yan. Really cemented himself as a player there at 135 in his debut, and very, very fun performance in his debut fight. And up next, Jing Ling versus Daichi Abe. I was wrong on this fight. I went with, Jing Ling, or no, I was right on this fight. I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm thinking. No, never mind. No, I was wrong. I'm sorry. I picked Daichi Abe to win by first round knockout. But, Li Jingliang was kind of able to win every round. He was using nice leg kicks, nice shots, and even by the third round, Daichi was kind of gassed. He's starting to put it to him. And, good performance by Li Jingliang. Daichi Abe, just wasn't ready for that level yet. And Jessica Eye versus Jessica Rose Clark, another fight that I got wrong. I got 3 out of 4 fights wrong here on the main card, actually. But ended up still going 9-4, so it wasn't bad. But, Jessica Eye versus Jessica Rose Clark, I thought it was a fairly close fight. I thought Jessica Rose Clark didn't look very good, man. I thought she looked a little bit slow. Wasn't closing the distance quite as fast as I've seen her. And it looked like she had a very, maybe not huge advantage, but she had an advantage in the strength. And I thought that she could have used that by putting Eye against the cage, controlling the clinch. But, good win for Jessica Eye. She's now 2-0 at 125. And for Jessica Rose Clark, I don't think it drops Jessie Jess too far. Still a big fan. Still think she has good support from the fans as well. And beating 2 fairly big names. in the UFC so far. I think she'll get bounce right back and get a pretty good matchup. And up next, Ovid St. Preux versus Tyson Pedro. This is a hell of a fight, guys. You know, Tyson Pedro looked like he had Ovid's out early, man. He was really rocking him. He hit him with a big head kick, hit him with a nice right hand. Then he tried to go for a guillotine, which I kind of thought was a mistake. I thought he should have went for the finish with the TKO because he had Ovid out on his feet there. But Ovid was able to get out of that guillotine, and you know, he eventually took Pedro down, got on top, got in the mount position, and it was just landing some heavy shots, and eventually got an armbar, you know, kind of like a straight armbar. He was trying to go for the Kimura and just pulled his arm, and really, really strong performance by Ovid St. Preux. That guy's almost like a 50-50 fighter, man. You can't count him out. Like, it's like, you can't bet on him, but you can't fade him either, like OSP, because it's like, man, sometimes he could pull something out of his hat. He's so athletic and just has these crazy finishes, man. It's hard to you know, to bet on him, to think what he's gonna do. Maybe you could shit the bed, or, you know, to bet against him. Like, very tough. But for the main event, and our most confident pick was Leon Edwards. And I thought Leon really put a pretty good performance in. I thought that the first 2 rounds, when he was really fresh, he dominated the fight, especially the first round. Almost got the finish multiple times. And, you know, I thought he won 4 out of the 5 rounds. I could see people giving Cerrone the 3rd round. I thought Cerrone won the 3rd round. But, you know, I thought Edwards won 1st, 2nd, 4th, and the 5th rounds. Thought it was a really good performance by Edwards, even though I do kind of not like the fact that he gets very complacent, starts to, you know, not go for the finish. I really think he could have got Cerrone out of there. He was kind of coasting a lot, especially in that 5th round, just kicking and moving until later in the round. But still landed the cleanest shot, showed really great speed. He's won 6 fights in a row. And I think it's time, man. I think that the Masvidal fight's a great matchup. You know, I don't know. I kind of favor Masvidal on that fight, to be honest with you. But I think it's, you know, the right progress for his career. Good step up, good fight. And for Donald Cerrone, man, nothing to keep your head down about. Looked like a complete beast out there, man. He was taking shots, walking forward. Really showed a great chin. Good grit, good heart. Never gave up. And good performance there by Donald Cerrone. His stock didn't go down at all, in my opinion, after that fight. Still think he's a very tough guy that's going to continue to push and just, you know, make it difficult for these new guys to get past him and move into that upper echelon of the division. And make no mistake about it, anyone that beats a guy like Donald Cowboy Cerrone is a top, you know, 7 guy, top 5 to 7 guy in the world. And, you know, Cerrone's still that gatekeeper for that division. But we're going to move on here to the Dana White Contender Series Week 3 now. And last week on this series we went 3 out of 5, so not quite as good as the 5-0 that we had the first week. But we're going to be looking to bounce back on the Parlay of the Week as well. And the first fight of the night is Tim Karen against Jordan Williams. Jordan Williams is taking this fight on short notice, but Tim Karen's an Air Force veteran. Good amount of experience compared to other fighters that have been on the Contender Series so far this season. Actually, a lot of the fighters have a lot more footage, a lot more tape than others have had this season. Also, you know, a lot more fights overall. And he's also fought some bigger organizations. He's fought in Bellator. He's 2-1 in Bellator. But he still hasn't fought that stiff level of competition. And it was one step up against fellow prospect Jordan Young. Finished in round 1. So I wasn't extremely impressed watching the tape, to be honest. He isn't the greatest athlete. Looks like he's not very confident in his hands. Tends to stay on the outside, throw inside-outside leg kicks. He'll throw up head kicks. He'll try to time a straight right hand when you're crashing the distance. Tries to stay light on his feet, use movement, but isn't the fastest, most athletic guy, so he's a bit stationary, stands in front of you. Doesn't have great hand speed. He struggles with defense fighting, moving backwards. He can pull back with his hands low and get caught clean. He will just shell up, try to block the punishment without moving, too, and it makes him a very easy target to tee off on. He doesn't go for much offensive wrestling, but he is a strong guy. He had an odd slam KO in his last fight that really just seemed like a freak thing. He isn't super active, but he keeps a pace that he can keep for 3 rounds comfortably. He has 2 submissions, but it's against very low-level competition. 5 TKOs, KOs to his record, but it's more on volume. He doesn't have that big one-punch power. All of his wins are by finish, and he's going to be looking to continue that in this fight and earn a contract. And for Jordan Williams, he's taking this fight on about 1 week's notice. He's a Bellator vet as well. He's coming off a KO in their organization. He has some big-time training partners. He's trained by Dean Lister, also trained with the Diaz brothers. Good athlete, much better movement, much more athletic ability than Tim Karen. Smooth on the feet, moves well, nasty straight right hand, very fast, good power. Has a solid left hook, explosive left hook, good power. Doesn't mind getting in the pocket throwing, but he can get very tall with his punches, chin high. Has good takedowns, gets the mount, does damage. Sometimes could struggle to control position on top. But I just think Williams is a much better athlete. He has concussive power. I think that he's explosive with his entries. He really can cross his distance very fast. Get in your face, land shots, and then get out of the way. And I think he should win this fight. Should get it to the ground. And just win by TKO or submission in round 1. It's possible Karen clips him on the chin and gets an early knockout, but I think that's very unlikely. And I'm going to go with Jordan Williams here to win this fight, coming in on short notice. I just think that he's the younger, better, more well-rounded fighter, and just the overall better athlete. And that's one of my most confident picks. But we're going to move on to actually my most confident pick overall of the night. And I'm going to go with Jamal Emmers to defeat Julian Erosa. And, Jamal Emmers, I was really impressed with his footage. He's an explosive athlete, extremely fast, ton of high-level MMA experience. Nice jab, straight right hand, clean punching combos. He can knock you out if he puts long combos together. Great movement, uses good head movement to stay on the outside and avoid shots explode in. Crazy kicks, he'll throw spinning heel kicks, jumping front kicks. Very fast with his technique, super fast with his punches especially. Usually starts with them early in the fight to show you can finish the fight. He has really big kicks as well. We'll throw some crazy kicks early on, kind of to get you scared to close the distance. Hard leg kicks, he'll really beat up your front leg. He talks a lot, puts his hands down, he'll taunt you. Kind of has some swag in the cage. He has a great single leg ability to continue to wrestle the whole fight. He doesn't get tired. He doesn't have great finishing skills on the takedowns, and people could get back up whenever. But whenever he has a problem in the striking, he could go there, slow the fight down, kind of get the guy down. Even if he gets back up, keep him in the clinch. Nasty to clinch with hard elbows, nice knees. Definitely could go all 3 rounds. He's got 5 rounds, but he does slow a little bit. He has a good chin. He's hard to submit. He has recent wins over UFC vets Corey Sandhagen, Chris Avila. His last loss was against Thiago Moises in a fight that he took on short notice, a weight class up. He fought about a week notice, and it was a title fight. Went to the 5th round. It was a competitive fight. And Thiago Moises is definitely UFC caliber. And for Julian Erosa, he's a former tough competitor, looking to get his foot back in the door in the UFC. He's going to be much slower, less explosive athlete in this fight. But he has decent boxing. He can land nice uppercuts, straight punches. He starts combinations with a good jab. He has nice power in his right straight. He's calm in the pocket, can land nice shots. Throws a lot of front kicks, leaves himself susceptible to overhands. He has solid movement, likes to counter. He's a one-shot done guy a lot, doesn't throw a lot of combinations. He's slow, and the speed advantage is going to be massive in this fight for Emmers. He has decent takedown defense, but I think Emmers definitely could take him down. Off his back, he's calm, decent defensively, but can give his back and give up mount. He has a good guard. He'll attack with quick arm bars, solid chokes. Definitely has a questionable chin. He got knocked out by Artem Lobov, knocked out by Teruto Ishihara. And both those guys aren't high-level fighters. Both those guys are less than 500 fighters in the UFC. And Artem's 500 overall. And he also recently got TKO'd on the regional scene by a 500 fighter. He just fought in 105 round decision, so he should have good cardio. He doesn't get tired in most of his fights. He'll walk you down, hands down, talk shit, tries to goad you into a war. He's super active unless you go first. And, really likes to counter, follow up what you're doing. He struggles with leg kicks. He gets kicked a lot in the legs. Really can get his front leg hurt. He backs up against the cage too much. Too content behind the warning track. He got knocked out by Lobov, like I said, in under a minute. He could be controlled against the fence of the clinch. I just think this is an easy fight for Emmers. The speed advantage will be evident early. I think he's going to beat up that leg. I don't see Erosa stopping the single if Emmers wants to wrestle. But I think he'll put punch and combo together and finish Erosa in round 1. Arroza's game plan will be to take Emmers into deep water, hope he tires, and then finish him late or catch him when he's too open striking, but that's just unlikely. Arroza has a questionable chin, lets himself get backed up against the cage too much, and I just think Emmers is going to find that KO in round 1. And I'm going to go with Jamal Emmers in this fight. I think that it's a pretty good matchup for Jamal Emmers to put on a show there. And then next we have Greg Rebello against Josh Parisian. And Josh Parisian's like the third opponent in about 2 weeks for Rebello. They've really struggled to find a guy to stick on the card here in this spot. And for Josh Parisian, what I saw, he's a very big, slow, plodding heavyweight. Doesn't look very good. Seems like they're just trying to find any replacement they can for Rebello to fight. He doesn't have fast hands. Throws one punch at a time. Throw the jab. He'll throw a right hand. Throw some kicks, but very slow and sloppy technique. Doesn't move his head. Just slowly plods forward. Bad grappler. Gets stuck against the cage. Taken down. Shows nothing off his back. He does seem to have decent cardio for being such a big guy. The only solid guy that he's fought, he's been TKO'd by, and that's Tony Lopez. He's going to be fighting another longtime veteran in Greg Rebello. Rebello's going to be trying to avenge his loss he had in the Contender Series last season. Rebello's kind of an undersized heavyweight, but he has more experience fighting at this weight. And he's actually been fighting a lot in the cruiserweight division in CSMA. And this is kind of like, a step up to a heavyweight. He's fighting a big guy, so I don't know if that's going to be a big factor. But, Rebello's someone who's light on his feet. He tries to pot shot you, counter, and use lateral movement, straights and overhands. He's a southpaw. Nice straight left, overhand left. He'll throw the straight right with good accuracy as well. He has big one-punch knockout power with his left hand. He can finish you with one shot, absolutely. He will not throw much variation. Sometimes he'll mix in a jab, inside leg kick, but really is looking for the one-punch KOs. Doesn't throw his hands in combination, and if he did, I think he would be way more effective. He can get controlled in the clinch against the cage, can get taken down. Okay takedown defense, and it's hard to hold him down. He seems overpowered by a lot of his opponents in the clinch. He gets kind of muscled even when he has superior positioning. I think he will be just as strong in this fight, especially in the grappling positions. He has 2 quick finishes since his loss in the Contender Series, and he's incorporated a new check right hook he's starting to throw after his overhand lefts. He won his last fight with a nice uppercut and sprawl position after defending a takedown. He is vulnerable against the cage, and needs to have space to be able to use his movement to be effective. But Rebello is quick with his hand speed. It makes guys hesitant to close the distance. He has good cardio for someone his size. He's been winning a lot of fights on the cards and then got caught and TKO'd just because he's fought these bigger guys. Guys like Ashley Gooch, guys like Zuinao and Yawu. And he has finished his last 7 wins, but he's been TKO'd 4 times. But I don't think he has that bad of a chin. Rebello definitely has the better one-punch KO power. And this is going to be an easy fight for Rebello. I think that Rebello has been training. He's more active. This is a perfect matchup for Rebello to get a highlight reel KO in round 1. I think that Parisian's going to slowly plod forward, try to land his shots, but he's going to be just way too slow with his hand speed as well. And I think Greg Rebello is just going to find that one kill shot and just put him away in the first round. And very confident in that pick. I'm going with Greg Rebello. And up next, Austin Tweedy versus T. Edwards. And, this is the closest fight of the night. Austin Tweedy, he's a super aggressive wrestler. He likes to push the pace, get in your face early, take you down, finish in round 1. Pretty athletic, opens fight with a lot of leg kicks. He'll fake and fade, but eventually very quickly will go for the takedowns. He's very strong and explosive. He'll get in on the legs, land powerful slams. He has a heavy top game, does a good job getting him out, raining down punishment. He'll make his opponents give their back and then get the rear naked choke. He hasn't fought great competition in some very old guys, so a little bit weary about that. But he has some pretty bad striking defense as well if he can defend his takedowns. He's a bit wild on the feet. He'll start to throw crazy shots like Superman punches to try to close the distance. He can get tagged with punchy combos and knees because he ducks his head down. He can get hit hard with shots in the clinch. Slows down big time after round 1 because he starts at such a fast pace. He has a great chin though, and his one loss, he took massive shots, still kept trying to get the takedown, even though he was exhausted. Very tough guy. He won't break. And T. Edwards, he's a former All-American wrestler at Arizona State, very athletic guy. He'll have a speed advantage in this fight. He's trained out of the MMA lab. And this is going to be Tweedy's first fight out of Indiana. So I think someone from the MMA lab definitely has people to work with. They're maybe a little bit better than Tweedy. Like I said, this is his first fighting out of Indiana. So he's really been fighting just regionally. And Edwards is getting better with his hands. And his kicks and solid power. His last 4 wins have come by KO, TKO. But he's very wild and raw with his striking. He's athletic. He closes the distance with big shots, throws overhand, tries to get in the clinch, take you down. Throw big punches in the pocket, nice head kick. He doesn't set up his shots well, lunges, leaves big openings to get countered. Even though he's a wrestler, he seems to lack physicality, gets muscled in the clinch, and people could put him up against the cage, land shots there. He was dominated with the heavy wrestling game plan in his one loss. Couldn't get back up off the cage. He got slammed a couple times. Showed no urgency getting up from his feet. Even after he got taken down in the 3rd round, when he knew he was down, showed no urgency. And he's raw. I think that Tweedy's gonna be able to grind him out, man. I think that T. Edwards kind of breaks a little bit, and I think that Tweedy's gonna be able to hang on him, make him work. Just start grinding on him, really take him down, keep him down. And I think that he's going to get the finish, man. Late in round 2, early round 3, I think he's going to find either a submission or a TKO. And I'm going with Austin Tweedy there. And up next, Antonina Shevchenko against Jamie Rivera. And Antonina, she's the older sister of Valentina Shevchenko. She's a 6 striker, 10-time Muay Thai world champion. More aggressive style than Valentina, in my opinion. She leads much more. Great job sticking and moving, using footwork and counter shots to frustrate her opponent. But she will sit down on more shots, throw longer combos as the fight goes on. She has great hands, will throw nice check left hook, good straight left hand, and right down the pipe like a piston, man. Very limited, very good movement, very limited lack of movement. She doesn't use any wasted movement is what I'm trying to say, my bad. But she has a nice right hook, does a good job of skipping and ripping in the pocket. She'll slip and rip. She's very good at throwing in combination. She'll end or start it with kicks a lot. She'll dig to the body with hooks with both hands. Likes to control the center, make you move backwards. Great kicks, will throw heavy body kicks, nice inside, outside leg kicks. Very good front kicks to the face. She has nice knees and elbows in the clinch. But she seems unrefined and can be controlled against the cage. She has good takedown defense at space, and it's very hard to time a shot on her legs, but against the cage, that's where she does seem a little unrefined with her clinch work and her takedown defense. Most of her fights and even some of her MMA fights have been in a ring, so I think that's why she's a little uncomfortable with that. But she does throw some of the same tricky shots as her sister. She likes counter spinning back fist, nice Muay Thai plum clinch, nice trip takedowns from there. On top, she seems green. She doesn't do much damage or look for submissions. She goes for the finish more than her sister, though, I think, and she will stay composed, but try to turn it up in round 3. But she doesn't have huge power. Valentina definitely has the more thudding power. She only has 1 TKO, 4 decisions in her 5 MMA fights. She has great cardio and picks up the pace as the fight goes on. She's definitely an elite striker in division. Doesn't seem like a fish out of water on the ground. She will be fighting someone who, is a bit more experienced. She's fought some more high-level competition. She's fought Sarah D'Alilio in Bellator, but she's taking this fight on short notice. She also trains at the same gym as the person that was going to take this fight, Savannah Gomez-Juarez. They both train out of Dragon House MMA in Argentina, and they kind of have similar styles as well, but I think that Gomez-Juarez is the much better fighter, actually. And, she just fought 3 weeks ago. Navarra did, winning the decision. And she's light on her feet. She has good leg kicks, nice jab, straight right hand. She'll go upstairs with high kicks. Can throw some decent hook combos in the pocket. But she doesn't move her head. She can get predictable throwing the same shots on the feet. I think that she'll definitely get pieced up on the feet. She doesn't have good timing on her double leg. She'll get you against the cage, try to get the single. But she isn't a great wrestler. Isn't a great jiu-jitsu player either. She gets caught in deep arm bars, almost submitted against low-level fighters. Doesn't do much damage at all on the ground. She just seems like a much worse, raw version of her teammate who was going to fight Valentina. And I think that Antonina should be able to use good range striking, dominate this fight. But I don't know if she's going to get the finish. It's possible. I think that she could finish later on in the third round, especially if Jamie starts to get a little bit tired. But I'm going to say that it's a decision here for Antonina. But I'm going to say it's a very dominant, very eye-opening decision where she shows just great superior striking, very good takedown defense at space, and just dominates the fight. And for the parlay of the week, guys, I'm going to go with Jamal Emmers and Greg Rebello. Jamal Emmers, Greg Rebello, and Jordan Williams. I'm going to do that as my parlay of the week. Those three guys. And I think that Austin Tweedy is a good pick, but he's actually the favorite now, so not as good as I thought. I thought he was going to be the underdog in that fight. Antonina opened up at like minus 300. She's all the way at minus 900 now, so they really steamed that line. But like I said, that would be my parlay of the week. And I really think that Greg Rebello by knockout in round 1 is a good prop to put up. I think that potentially you could say Antonina by decision. I haven't looked at that prop to see what it's going to be. And I think that could be a good one, as well as Austin Tweedy potentially by decision, in my opinion. I think he could potentially just grind out a grappling decision here. But, alright guys, thanks for listening to another week of the prediction show, and hope you guys enjoyed the show, and please subscribe for more. Really been on a hot streak lately. Want to share these picks with everyone. Hope you guys enjoy the show, and have a great rest of the day.